Hi, so welcome back to Real Auto Reports. I'm Jonathan McGrew, and today here at Real Auto Ranch we have the real update video on our 2013 Dodge Charger. Now, as many of you know, and if you've looked at our other videos on this car, we own it and we decided we should do some long-term reporting on it. So it's been pretty much a year since our last video and since we got the car, and so we have about 10,000 miles on it, and we wanted to give you an update. So that's what this video is all about, and well, we'll see how the car's fared over the last 12 months. All right, so really, a couple things we want to tell you about this car over the last 10,000 miles and the last 12 months of ownership. We want to talk about the maintenance on it. We want to talk about any warranty or technology issues we've had with it. And we also want to talk about whether or not we would recommend buying this vehicle after living with it for a full year, multiple drivers, multiple types of weather, and driving experiences and environments. So to start off, let's talk about the warranty issues that we've seen on this vehicle. We haven't actually had it in the shop too much for the last 12 months, but just in the end of that, right about the end of January, first part of February, we noticed that we were having some pretty interesting problems with the vehicle and the crash avoidance and the adaptive cruise. And that all gets controlled partially by this eyeball down here in the bumper. This eyeball, as you can see, is very low. It's mounted in the front fascia and susceptible to being hit by road debris, dips, parking curbs, and anything else you can think of that might jump up and bite your car in the front. It's also susceptible to people, naughty, nasty, mean people who back into your car and don't leave a note and damage the front bumper and knock that eyeball out of alignment. So there's two things that can happen. You can actually have the eyeball damaged, rocks can break it, or you can have somebody knock it out of alignment either through some typical driving or through an accident. So those are some things that will cause an issue with that system. In our case, what we were told is that our system, the mounting floating hardware that they align so that it views straight, had disintegrated. There, rubber bolts and all sorts of stuff under there that let it float and jiggle a little bit but stay in alignment. We were told that it's because we hit a curb. Well, we know that about 3 weeks into owning the car did go up over a curb, and I documented that as part of our testing. I wanted to make sure I knew all the things that happened to this car because we were going to report on it. The problem is that this 2013 Dodge Charger RT Max Hemi with all these options on it has never had a problem beyond that, and it's been in the shop for regular maintenance and oil changes, and we were never told that there were any issues with the system. No warnings, things like that. Now we find out that, well, they want to blame that curb bump for damaging the mounting hardware. And frankly, we just don't believe it. I don't think many people would. So I said, okay, well, isn't that under warranty? It was fine for a year. The answer was no, because they couldn't prove that it was a warranty claim issue. Now, I know that the thing that probably precipitated this, and I talked to the dealer about it at length, was we went through a car wash, and I said, we went through a car wash, it has the underbody spray. Are these systems really that susceptible to high pressure coming underneath? Think about all the car washes that you go through, and when you have winter weather like we do here in Colorado, you want to get that mag chloride off or the salt or all of that. And they said, well, that actually could happen because they have seen fog lights damaged by those underbody sprays and all sorts of things. So now we're in this dilemma. We have these rubber grommets that in another year, I had to pay $200 to get the system fixed and realigned. And in another year, will I have to do that again? And we're planning on keeping the car for the long haul, so we'll definitely let you know. But do keep in mind that these systems, I should say, are sensitive, and you want to watch that front end when you're going through dips and parking, bumps and spaces, and make sure that you're trying to get the best longevity out of the system. But know that it is susceptible, and the forums will tell you that as well. A lot of people have had to have these systems fixed and realigned, and some of it is just from normal wear and tear, yet the warranty doesn't seem to cover it because there's a mismatch in how the dealer has to bill Dodge and how Dodge actually approves a warranty claim. So You know, in this case, we paid the $200 and hope that it stays together because we really like that adaptive cruise feature on a vehicle that tops out just over 40 with all these options on it. Now, let's talk about a few other things with this vehicle in terms of living with it in the long haul. It is a great car to drive, lots of power, good all-wheel drive. One of the first experiences we had with it after we bought it was driving it in several inches of snow out on the freeway because it was a freak snowstorm we had here in Colorado. The all-wheel drive is impeccable. It's a rear bias, and we love that about it. It gives it a real muscle car sense. Now, after driving many different cars this year, what I can tell you, though, is that this is not a handling car. This is not going to be a BMW 5 Series. It's not going to be a Lexus IS or even GS from that perspective. It is a big, wide body, powerful, muscle type car. And while it will handle well, you definitely notice that it has a lot of girth and beef to it going around a corner. So you don't want to, get out of sync with it because it is such a big car. But with all the traction control and all-wheel drive systems and anti-skid, it'll keep you planted. It's just not a sports sedan. It would never be classified as such. It is a full-body, very comfortable car. And on that note, that comes back to the wear and tear on the interior and the comfort. I still haven't found a car yet that I like in this size category that has as comfortable as seats for all the people that we take around, including family and friends, with enough room in the back seat and enough room in the front seat, and with comfortable bolsters that hold you in but aren't intrusive to all sizes of passengers. I really like the interior on this Dodge Charger. And we have the two-tone Napa leather interior with the heated rear seats and the heated and cooled front seats, and it's just lovely. Now, one thing that I do recommend for these cars in the summer, especially in black and especially with all the leather inside, is the tinted windows, which is aftermarket, and you can see here on our car. Gives it a neat kind of cool look, but it really helps cut down the heat on the inside. But remember, we also have auto start and smart key on this, so we can auto start it summer or winter, and it'll automatically decide whether we need the cooled seats on, the heated seats on, or the temperature and climate control changed to cool or warm up the car. So these are all really great features. Now, from the fuel economy perspective, it's going to be a gas guzzler. There's no way around it. It's 15 miles per gallon in the city, and that's where these cars are driven quite a bit of the time. Even out on the freeway, you're only going to see in the upper 20s. This car, 15 to 23, I believe, are the figures, and we'll flash up the official EPA figures here on the screen. But what I can tell you is it's expensive to run at the pump, especially right now today where we're pushing $4 a gallon, and it does take premium fuel for this Hemi V8. Now, can you go down to a different fuel grade? Yeah, sure. Why not? But will you get the performance? No, of course not. And with the 4.8, it really helps, but with the 5-speed automatic transmission, it doesn't have as many gears as some of the other cars out on the market. Now, I know that's going to change, and we've seen a lot of speeds coming along. The new Jeep Cherokee has a 9-speed. The 300s are getting 8 speeds. The Charger V6 has an 8-speed. The thing is I would take this 5-speed over every one of them that I've driven with the more speeds because it's more responsive, shifts less, it is a lot more fun to drive because you have a different kind of shift pattern. So, it's always that balance between economy and performance. All right, so a few other things on our Dodge Charger that I do want to point out. It's, I guess it goes into the nitpicky column, but we have also needed to do a couple things with updates from the factory. Around the blind spot monitoring system, they had to do a firmware update, and we're still having an intermittent issue with the navigation and center display screen around connecting with our iPod or our iPhones, and just in general, it going blank or freaking out on us and putting a whole bunch of, code basically down the front of the screens. Now, the dealer hasn't been able to replicate these problems, but we do have some video of the blind spot monitoring just freaking out and staying on when there was nothing to our left. And that they seem to have fixed with that code update. So if you're having that problem with your charger, make sure you take it in and see if they can do a firmware or a software update to your blind spot monitoring, and that may fix the problem. The thing we would like to say is that the Dodge dealer that we bought this from, Brandon Dodge out in Littleton, what we like about them is that we have a great service manager. He works with us. They've been good to us when we bought the car, and they've been good to get these warranty repairs in. They actually did more repairs on this car than we asked them to in our last service, because they checked all the service bulletins, they checked all the things we asked them to check that were kind of weird, and then they did the oil change, the tire rotation, and got our adaptive cruise fixed. And it took less than a day. It was right on schedule. We picked it up. And that is the kind of customer service angle you want to see from your car company when you've paid a lot of money for a car that you really like. So I have to give kudos to Dodge. They've really changed over the years. We're getting much better service on our Charger today than we ever did on our '06 Ram that we still own and is paid off. So I think if this is a car you're looking at, you should go take a closer look and look at our other videos about the reviews on this and driving it around. It's a great car, still drives great, carries a lot. The trunk is nice and roomy. The passenger compartment is too. And we hope to keep it for several more years. And we'll do more updates coming up down the road. I'm Jonathan McGrew, Real Auto Reports, right here from Real Auto Ranch.